The King of Fighters. Select member.
手加減なんてしないわ。
Debuting in the King of Fighters 99 alongside K-Dash and Maxima, Whip has been a busy lady, with the Nest business, Ikari Warriors work, and somehow becoming the big sister to a chunk of the KOF cast. Like any experienced older sibling, Seirah, that's Whip's real name, has mastered the art of making her own personal space. Most do it with a locked door or some loud music. Whip, meanwhile, does this by beating you down with Voodoo, her beloved whip. KOF has a number of characters you can call zoners, but they're KOF zoners, meaning that most aspects about them are solid, but they excel at a distance because of a good projectile or something else. Whip, on the other hand, is the only character in this game I'd call a pure fighting game zoner. That means two things. One, her range and attack speed combination is the best in the game, able to potentially keep anyone out due to her ability to go high or low from a distance. And two, you're gonna have a real bad time with this girl if you let the opponent get close to her. The strikes are fast, but they also have what feels like eons long recovery periods, so just one whiff is enough to get Whip put in the dirt. As her game is more about well-placed normals and hard knockdown mix-ups over combos, I see her as a quality point. Other than a few EX moves, she really doesn't need to touch the meter to do what she needs. Like the Maxima guide, this is going to be another one that has a big focus on the normals. Going over her far-standing ones, things are pretty standard until we get to Far Heavy Punch. This one is a good microcosm for the majority of Whip's moveset. Big range, lots of active attack frames, lots of post-attack recovery frames, and in one of those moon logic quirks you just kinda have to accept with fighting games, Whip's hurt box is extended to where Voodoo is. Does that make a lick of sense? No, but this is a genre whose poster boy is a karate man who learned how to throw fireballs. I think we lost the right to complain about logic a while ago. By the way, not Whip's best normal. First hit can be special cancelled, but that second hit drags the opponent towards Whip, which is the exact opposite of what you want. Whip's close normals are the most normal of her normals. Only one to talk about here is her close light kick, which is a quick low attack. When crouching, Whip's normals defy all KOF standards. Except for crouching light kick, that one is a rule follower. Crouching light punch, on the other hand, is this long-range low that hits so low it can catch grounded opponents, and like the rest of her Whip-based normals, Voodoo can get hit, causing Whip to react as if she was the one who got struck. Her crouching heavy punch may be the best ground normal in the game. This is her sweep, and look at the range on this thing. Move comes out fast too, so unless the opponent jumps the exact second you start this attack, Whip isn't getting punished. Last unique crouching normal is her heavy kick. For most characters, this is their sweep, but for Whip, it's her anti-air normal. And this one is also unique as an anti-air, as this strike sets the opponent up for a juggle. Even in the air, Whip has some funky stuff going on with her normals. More specifically, her heavy air moves. To start off, she has two unique air normals if you do a neutral jump. Heavy kick isn't all that great, honestly, but maybe that was done on purpose to offset heavy punch, which is probably the best air-to-air normal in the game. Again, look at that range, look at that speed, and I know I just said air-to-air, but if you start this move late enough, it can even hit crouching opponents. One of her best moves. Now, if you do any other kind of jump, her heavy kick gains more horizontal range and can hit grounded opponents twice, while the heavy punch gets downgraded from one of the best normals in the game to one of the best normals in the game. Well, that doesn't sound like much of a downgrade, and that's because it's not. Instead of having absurdly good horizontal range, this jumping heavy instead has superior vertical reach, and merely excellent horizontal reach. This range also makes cross-ups stupidly easy to do with Seirah. After that cross-up hit, you're most likely going to follow it up with a move like Whip Shot, her first command normal, forward and light punch. This move should be called Whip Shots, since you can do it up to 5 times in a row. First and fifth hits are special cancelable, while the other hits are only super or max cancelable. Very unsafe if blocked, this move is combo filler only. If you want a different kind of shot you can use in neutral, then you're looking for Talon Shot, Down Forward, and Light Punch. It isn't special cancelable, but this is one of Whip's best zoning tools. It's got nice speed, good horizontal range, it's active for a while, and the pushback on it makes it safe on block. I'd say you could keep throwing this out with no worries, but of the 2 command normals, this one has the extended hurt box. Watch out for parries, armor, and projectiles. Glad to report though that none of Whip's specials have that extended hurt box, and to start with those specials we have a set that all have similar startups, but very different endings. Whip's strength shots make up the majority of her specials, and are done with a half circle back, then a different button. The light punch version is known as Superior. This is the fastest of the 3 and ends with an overhead hit. If you want to try and hit someone in the air with strength shot for some reason, this is the one to go for, as Whip will still do the follow-up if the second hit connects with an airborne opponent. The light kick version is called Strength, and ironically, it's the weakest of all the strength shots. This is the slowest one, it hits mid, it does awful damage if it somehow does hit, and it brings the opponent closer to Whip if it gets blocked or if it hits. It does have the best range of all the strength shots, and it gives Whip a massive frame advantage, but I still wouldn't recommend using this move. Use something like the Heavy Punch Victory instead. Slower than Superior, but faster than Strength, this one ends in a low and does the most damage of the 3. And as a bonus, you will get to hear Seirah's little evil laugh. There's only one EX version of Strength Shot, but it is a good one. Pressing both punches will give you a version that comes out much faster than the other 3 and ends with a launcher. One of the few good combo tools Whip has in her arsenal. One more thing about these strength shots is that they can be held. You can even walk around when holding the move and then it'll come out when you release the button. If you don't move, Whip will cancel the hold on her own after a few seconds, but you can also cancel the hold at any time by pressing Heavy Kick. Use these tools to throw off the timing of an opponent trying to dodge, or it can also be used as an intimidation tool while you either back away or advance with Whip. One of the few defensive options Whip has is Boomerang Shot, half circle, forward, and punch. This is her anti-air special that has a tendency to whiff even after the first hit connects. Hey, I just said it was a defensive option, not a good one. The light version has nothing. The heavy version has full body invincibility on startup and does more damage, while the EX version does even more damage. Seriously, am I missing something here? Why does this light version exist? I don't have any frame numbers, but it doesn't seem to be any faster, and the recovery on all 3 versions, if whiffed or blocked, is horrific. By the way, Whip, go ahead and slowly fix your hair if you whiff. I'm sure nothing bad will... Oh. The next special on the list is Hook Shot, quarter circle back and punch in the air. Like a certain green tunic wearing elf, Whip pulls herself up towards the ceiling using her tool before falling back down. The light and heavy versions are a good pseudo double jump that can help dodge attacks, or catch opponents off guard as you can throw out an attack the moment Whip starts falling. As for that EX version, oh boy, that is something. So to start off, if you use this version, it sends Whip right in front of the opponent regardless of where she is on screen, allowing her to pull off punishes from anywhere. But if you hold forward right after starting this move, Whip lands right behind the opponent. Combine this with her air heavy punch and the cross-up she can pull off? Beautifully disgusting stuff. The last special is Crescent Swatter, listed as back, then quarter circle back plus kick. But that's how I do a Z motion, so I'm just going to say Z motion back and kick. First glance, this just looks like a slow overhead, but that's only one of its functions. Now, the timing for this is tight, but if you can start this move right before a projectile gets to Whip, the projectile is not only sent back, but it's also transformed into this wind ball thing. It moves slow, but it stays on the field for a long time, eats up any projectiles while it's active, and its low speed allows Whip to run in for some mix-ups or smack a jumping opponent out of the air. The EX version does more damage and causes the transform projectile to last much longer. It can even hit up to 3 times. Only supers left now, and the first is Sonic Slaughter. Double quarter circle forward and punch. This one doesn't have too much range and it does less damage than her other super, but it does start much faster, making it an okay reversal option. The other super, which is much better in my opinion, is Destruction Barrage. Double quarter circle forward and kick. This move gives Whip upper body invincibility for its entire duration, does slightly more damage than Sonic Slaughter, and has more range. If you're ending a combo or looking for another anti-air option, this is a pretty good choice. For Whip, her best friend is Voodoo, and you too will learn to love this weapon as it'll provide any success you have playing as Whip. This is not a character you're constantly trying to get in close with. Instead, you want to keep the opponent at mid or far range with their lengthy normals and talon shot, keep knocking the opponent down, and keep them guessing with their high or low strength shots. Once your opponent starts to grow accustomed to this constant struggle of trying to get close to Whip, that's when you catch them off guard with a sudden approach with hookshot, a cross-up, or both, and dish out a combo before returning to the zoning game. Now, the game plan against Whip is very simple in comparison. Just get in and stay in. She has 0 answers to a solid rushdown that doesn't involve either burning meter or risking even more damage if the move is blocked or whiffed. If you can bait out something like Boomerang Shot, it's open season on Whippy. The final member of Team K-Dash has a guide now. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel, like the video, and leave a comment below. I'll see you guys next time with something new.
What a stellar fight! These two know how to rumble! Winner!
ドゥの猛攻にここまで耐えるなんてあなたを見くびっていたわ。
Garo, Mark of the Wolf.